Hey guys, my name's Colin and this is my review of the Norda 005 after 200 kilometers. Before I get into the review, I wanted to start things off with the question, are the 005s worth it? Because these are highly expensive compared to some other trail runners. And I think the best way I can put it is if you love the 001 and think they are worth it at the price tag, then you will 100% think the 005s are worth it as well. I've tried the 001, 002, and now the 005s, and I'm a big fan of all three. I was kind of hoping I would have a little more complaints about the 005, but it's just a really damn impressive performer. But let's get right into the review, and we'll start things off with the fit. So just like the 001, I had to go up half a size. They even say on the website that it's recommended to go up half a size from your normal fit. So I'm normally a size 10.5 and these are a size 11 and they fit great. Comparing them to the 001, I think they are a similar fit lengthwise. However, the width in the toe box of the 005 is noticeably wider compared to the 001. So you get a bit more accommodation here in the forefoot when it comes to width. But I know some people that the half size up in the 001 was still too small. So if you went a full size up on the 001, you probably should just do the same with the 005. Aside from the difference in the width of the forefoot, I found the fit overall to be very similar to the 001. At first you feel a little bit of worry because of the lack of structure here in the heel, just like the 001. However, as you break the shoe in and figure out a proper lockdown for your foot, you get a good heel lock-in, and I didn't have any issues with the fit after I broke the shoe in. All right, so next up is the upper. Again, in the 005, we have a bio-based Dyneema upper. I do find this upper to be quite a bit more breathable and better at draining water compared to the previous two models of the 001 and 002. You have a pretty decent overlay here in the toe box and it gives you a little extra protection. It's mostly just a one-piece upper here with the Dyneema with a few more overlays here throughout the side and heel. I did find this upper once in a while did irritate my Achilles just kind of digging in, but it was never something I noticed that often. The tongue is just a very soft, pliable, felt-like material with almost no structure at all, but it is gusseted here to the shoe, and it is also perforated all the way through for a little more drainage and breathability. I know with this shoe they were trying to keep it as light as freaking possible, so they cut material at every opportunity so you don't get the heel tab that you get on the 001, and I really do wish they just would have stuck with that same heel tab because I found these a little hard just to get on every time. Not a huge deal, but that little pull tab I would use every single time I put on the 001, and I would have loved to see that here in the 005 as well. And it did take me a little bit of time to figure out what type of lacing setup works for my foot, but eventually I just used the extra lace loop to lock in my heel and tie things up a little bit tighter near the collar and keep things a little bit looser here in the forefoot, and the fit felt fantastic. Also, I'm going to keep this in the upper category, but these come with two sets of insoles, and I went to go look for the extra set, but I couldn't find them. And supposedly the ones that come in the shoe are a little bit thicker, and the ones you get in the box are even lighter, so you can throw those in on your race day. But they definitely are not that really nice beaded insole that you get in the 002 and 001. They're much thinner than those, obviously to keep things lighter. You also have a little bit of cushioning here on the ankle areas on the inside of the upper for a little more comfort. And 200K in, and although they're very dirty, I don't see any degradation in the upper. It looks like it's holding together fantastically. All right, so next up is the cushion. So this is where the shoe really kind of shines and separates itself from other models. I'm personally really not sold on plated trail shoes, and I love that Norda just stuck a bunch of super foam in this shoe without any plate. So you're just riding on this really nice and cushy, bouncy super foam. I think it's called a TPEE compound, and it feels so nice underfoot. It has a lot of bounce and springiness to it, and 200K in, it only feels more comfortable in my opinion. It's not quickly flattening out like some of the experiences I've had in super road shoes. It's just really amazing how lightweight this midsole is while maintaining such a comfortable ride. And I think they did hit a pretty good sweet spot when it comes to stack height. So this is a 7mm drop, and it has 21.5 millimeters in the forefoot and 28.5 millimeters in the heel. It's just enough that you can kind of still feel pretty nimble on technical terrain while also maintaining enough protection underfoot for harsh terrain as well. Although because this midsole, it feels so nice and bouncy, there are times where you feel a little bit unstable compared to, say, the ride of the 001, but I'll take that instability any day to have that really nice bouncy midsole. But I do feel like I should say that this super foam does feel a little bit wild and unstable at times. So next up is the traction. So you have a brand new Vibram compound here called Mega Grip Elite, and I found it to be really damn good in a lot of conditions. So you can see the Tetris-like shape of the lugs here, and these are 4mm lugs, a little bit less than the 5mm lugs in the 001 and 002. I'm assuming that was trying to save a little more weight, but I did take these on a 25K trail race recently, and it was a very technical course, and there were times where I wondered if just a millimeter more of grip would have been a bit better. But to save the weight, that loss of a millimeter of lug depth is probably worth it. It wasn't often that I was slipping out. It was only in like some of the deeper mud sections where not many shoes would have handled that either way. 200K in, I don't see any real wear down of these. I will say I do not run on the road in these at all. These are, I'd say, 99% used on trail only. So the lug depth seems to be holding up really well as long as you're running on trails. One more thing I do like about the 005's traction compared to the 001, there's just less area for mud to get stuck into. So these clear mud quite a bit better than the 005 traction. So next up is the weight, and that's where this shoe is kind of mind-blowing. So a men's size 8.5 is only 7.5 ounces. You pick it up and you notice how incredibly light it is. On foot, it feels incredibly light. And I think, like I said before, they reached a really nice sweet spot of stack height. So I think that you could take these on really long ultras and still have a comfortable ride here. And because these are so light overall, I think it would really add up of saving your legs in the long term in a race of like 100K or 100 miler. All right, so the final verdict of the 005 after 200 kilometers. I think you can probably tell I'm a huge fan of these. Just a full-on Norda fanboy. Like, these are just fantastic. They're my favorite shoe right now. My only problem with them now is, do I try to save them for like my summer end 50 miler that I want to try to perform well at, or do I keep running in these all summer because I'd love to just be running in these every day? And they're so expensive, there's no chance I'm buying another pair. So I'm just stuck between, do I put these on the shelf and use them kind of as the race day shoe, or just keep riding them out because they're so fun and comfortable and enjoyable to run in. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to keep running in them, and hopefully they'll hold up until August when I'm running the 50 miler. But yeah, have you tried out the 005? I'm very curious to see what other people have been thinking about them. I think everyone seems to love them. I know some people have had some issues with the lugs wearing down, but I haven't had that at all since I've just kind of been riding these on the trails. But I'd love to hear your opinion either way, so let me know in the comments. And thanks a lot for watching the review, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.